All right. All right. These are my ideas for the book. I just wanted to sit out here and just kind of ramble on. Um, First, I have the class system. I have the class system, which is you go from common class, uncommon to rare to epic to semi-legendary to legendary to mythical. Now, I plan on having the character having 3 classes instead of the normal 2. Probably in the first dungeon he goes to, I'm gonna have him at least gain 2 overpowered skills. The first one, I either just posted it, just thought about it. It's gonna be the one where he's gonna have. It says he'll think 3 times faster, but what the skill actually is he'll have 6 options to choose. He can have 2 additional brains, in quotation marks, brains, but these will be voices that will tell him, their own, like, the best possible thing that he could do in this situation. I think for this one, they're probably going to be like romantics, like a romantic personality, an economic personality, martial personality, leadership personality, spy master, and I should like do a 6th one, but I don't know what the 6th one should be. Maybe like a magic personality, but I already said he's had aura, and I don't want to mix those two. I want those two to be complete separate things, because I want Loco, the character. I want him to. He's gonna be a blood mage, and then I eventually want Loco, the character, to be able to evolve from a semi-legendary class to a legendary class. I want the character, the Drake character, to realize that every single class is upgradable. Even his mythical class can go 1 step higher into mythical plus, the highest tier that there is. But he does not know this. He won't probably find out for a while, but he's going to slowly gain clues about it. And then you also have the like I said, the class system. I want to give him the battle minds so that he has 2 separate people giving him advice, give the story a little more character. I want these personalities to be, at first, I want them to be pretty be monotone, give him the best advice as possibly can. But as him as a character, as he grows, those personalities will grow with him, and they'll start to develop their own characters and their own personality traits on top of everything. So it'll be fun, listening. Well, not listening, but typing that out, because that's gonna be a challenge for me. Because this whole book, I want to challenge myself in how I write. So let's talk about class systems and what I want for the main character. I may deviate and go into specifics about the second main character, but I'll try at least to go into detail about the main character, Drake. Let's see. For him, I'm gonna want him to, like I said, have the 2 minds inside of him, and then I'm planning on, like I said, I'm doing what normal people would do. Is how I'm gonna write this is, when you first join the game, the first thing you have to do is get a class. So it's a little convoluted in the way I've written it, but it makes it harder for players overall. So he'll see classes in this life that he did in the last life, because he's there and he's doing different things than he was before. So things are going to change a little bit, and new classes are going to emerge that he's never seen before, and it's going to cause him a lot of problems. But it'll be good for the anyone, because a lot of problems means good storyline. It's going to be really hard trying to keep a balance between him being really overpowered and trying to make him fightable on the same level. I'll have to throw in characters that they it's this guy who was a similar during his past life, and now he suddenly has a real legendary class, and it's like, how I know this person only got similar legendary, and we're not in the same kingdom. There's no way I could have influenced that. How did he get this class? Maybe that's how I do it. They'll fight. They'll be arguing. They'll eventually make up, and then he'll get him to spill the beans on how he got a legendary class. Maybe that's how I do that. Um, and then I'll have him somehow get the materials needed for a class evolution, and have him evolve the class, his mythical class. However, I'm gonna make it so at level 100, players will gain their second class, and this is supposed to be a non. For all players, the second class is a non fighting class. It has to be a skill of life path. So after he gets to level 100, he's done the epic class dungeon. He's probably I'm gonna make him go to a different town and make him fight off a bunch of bandits to gain prestige within the empire. So for some sort of stuff, not gonna get that right now. But at level 100, he'll go to I mean, it's my own memo, so I guess it doesn't matter. He'll go to the king, and he will basically say, at this point, I'll probably have given him I probably have him acquire somehow a bloodline mixture, which means he'll be able to take one bloodline, have that infused with him, take the bloodline mixture, and then be able to immediately drink the second one, but he'll have to do it at the same time. So bloodlines can only be accepted by the person when they're right in front of him. Oh, that's a good one. That'll be a challenge. Trying to get the two people that he wants in the same room, and I'll make it so that they hate each other and they will never work with each other. And he'll have to do some convoluted shit in order to get them to work together, to give him their bloodlines. So okay. What bloodlines do I want him to manage? Because he'll have the spear class, the mythical spear class from his teacher. I'll have him. I want to do something with blacksmithing. So maybe like a grandmaster runesmith will pass on his bloodline, and his class will be semi-legendary. But because I don't want to make him too OP, because it wouldn't make sense to have a legendary in a kingdom that just the king is going to have a legendary class, but it wouldn't make sense to have another legendary on top of that. So I'll probably have the other guy have a semi-legendary class. Oh, that's how I'll incorporate it in the story. I was planning on having it where the king's daughter, that they're they're living in a kingdom, and I was planning on having it where like he does a bunch of shit for the kingdom, and then he goes and tries to get rewards for it, to help him with like money and stuff. And I was gonna have it where like he wanted to train the king's daughter, because she becomes a very, very, very powerful force in the future, and he wants to have her as one of his people whenever the events happen. Let's see. So if she holds some type of grudge against this Grandmaster Smith, and this Grandmaster Smith is, I guess, just done with her shit. So he doesn't want to work with her either. These two don't like each other at all, but because their father needs them both, once his daughter and once his best blacksmith, you can't get rid of either one. So they have to coexist, but they hate each other. And you convince the king Drake convinces the king to let him train his daughter, and that's when he gets the idea while training to use her bloodline and as part of it. He knows that she, as the emperor's daughter, has a legendary class. If you have a legendary class and you have a child, the firstborn child will always have the same status of class as you. The second and thirdborn, it's kind of like a dilution. Once that second kid comes in, he could have a legendary class, but it's more likely he would have a semi-legendary or even epic at that. And then the third or the fourth born, they have epics and maybe rares, but it's not that much. It causes internal strife in the family because you have people who are more capable than these legendary class holders, because the legendary class holders hold so much power, you can't do anything about them. This is what led to the first war for Ardella, because three separate factions. I'll say factions. Three separate factions, all were fighting for power. You had the third prince who had an epic class, who was fighting against the king and his second-born son, along with his grandmaster blacksmith. They were fighting on their side, and you had the fifth-born daughter and the first-born daughter, the one who becomes a legendary class. You had those two teaming up together in their own separate factions with a good 40% of the support, because she is the most likely candidate, and the emperor just doesn't want to see a female on the throne. So he's trying to get his son, who does hold a semi-legendary class, to sit on the throne, but he knows that the legendary class that his daughter holds too much weight to the powerful aristocrats. That's a good line, I thought. So I've already established that he'll be some grandmaster blacksmith or maybe runesmith, some like very overpowered class. I want my character to be able to. I'm gonna set my character up to be I'm gonna have a rule when it comes to his kingdom building, where he cannot directly tell NPCs how to upgrade stuff and how to get better infrastructure and all that. He cannot directly tell them. So I'm gonna spin him a story where he's gonna tell the residents that he lost, by the story with the entry Naga. He lost all his knowledge, but the imp wanted to play a trick on him, gave him infinite knowledge. However, he sealed it so he could never tell anybody. He would have to live with the burden of this knowledge. However, Drake had found a way around it, and he wanted to see his community prosper. So he calls a town meeting. He explains all this, and he tells them, "Listen, I can't tell you all the knowledge I have, but I can give you hints, and this is why I'm here. I genuinely want to help." And then because he is trying to play a righteous character, he is, in his own mind, he's out for his own good, his own profit, his own domination of this world. But in order to gain familiarity and in order to seem like the perfect person, he has to play this righteous character, which means he would have to do stuff that he would not normally do, show emotion where he would not normally show emotion, and do things he would not normally do. So he becomes very methodical with how he has to structure these riddles for NPCs to pick up on it, and he will gradually starts implementing plans, because you can implement laws, you can't tell the NPCs, like, here's how you build a gun or here's how you build a cannon. You can't do that. This whole game's at a very early medieval state. What you're supposed to do is as you collect more NPCs, they're supposed to make breakthroughs on their own. Players cannot physically tell the NPCs, because that would just be cheating. So he comes up with a way around this. He tells them riddles, and he says, "I cannot tell you my knowledge, but I can give you hints, and this is my way of helping all of you." And I'm gonna have it where he's gonna ask this question. He's gonna tell us to one person, and it's gonna be this one thing. And people aren't gonna really, maybe not when they read it the first time, they're gonna not gonna pay attention to it. But I'm just gonna throw it in there as like a quick little thing. It's like, oh yeah, this is gonna like I'm gonna have him go up to, like before he really reveals all this. I'm gonna have him go up to a farmer who's using who is not rotating crops. They have not figured out crop rotations yet. I'm gonna have him go up to the farmer and say and tell him. Ooh, what's that tell him? What's it like the first riddle? The first riddle should always be the best one, or maybe the worst one. So since he's still learning, so maybe something like he'll go up to him and be like, "Young farmer, I I have a riddle for you, and it will help you increase the growth of your crops. Obviously, the farmer will make more money like this. So he obviously listens to the man, and he says, "Go ahead, tell me the advice." And he says, and Drake will tell him, "No, no, no, this is a riddle. I cannot freely tell you this information, but I can give you hints. So, in the future, I will call upon you, and I will ask you about your progress with this riddle." Maybe the farmer will be okay. He probably thinks this guy's a little crazy, but anything to turn a better profit is anything at all. It's the peasant's way of life, and if this person supposedly says he has hints on how to get better profits, how to get better yields, fuck it, let's go for it. So I'm gonna have Drake say something like, "Well, we have crop rotations." No. Okay. Well, how would I describe crop rotations in a riddle? Something like, ooh, and they may not always be questions. They may just be statements. Like maybe the first one. Is it a statement? Let's see. So like, what if it's like, this is hard. I came up with this way back when I first started, but it's a really hard one to think about it. I'll have him say something like, oh, a young cub by itself struggles to kill an ox. A young lion cub by itself struggles to kill an ox. However, when that young lion cub has 2 or 3 or possibly even 4, 4 is the good number. Maybe like that. But when the lion cub has support, other lions, 2 or 3, most definitely 4, if they each take one turn attacking the ox will eventually fall. And the farmer will most likely be like, "What the hell is this guy talking about?" And Drake will explain to him, "Look, this riddle, it is me trying to help you. If you do not find any progress, so be it. But I implore you to seriously think about this riddle. It is an allegory for your land. Think about it, and come back to me." So this farmer goes about it, and eventually he realizes that his lima beans are like the lion cub. Oh no. I won't include that part. We'll go to like a town meeting when he's going to tell everyone that he can give them answers to like questions, and as like a statement, he's gonna call up the farmer. He's gonna say, "Farmer, whatever your name is, come up here," and he's gonna say, "Farmer, what was the riddle I told you? You told me a riddle and a story about one cub not being able to kill an ox, and how if he had 2, 3, definitely 4, if they each attacked at one at a time, the ox would eventually fall. Okay, and what did you take from that? Well, I honestly thought you were crazy. And Drake will say something like, "It is understandable. I understand." And he goes, "Hold on, I'm not done." But after thinking about it, I started to come to perspective on what you were trying to tell me. It was amazing. I had never thought about it before. If lima beans corrode the soil, and I don't know what corrodes the soil and what doesn't, but if lima beans, I'm just using lima beans as an example. If lima beans corrode the soil and beet roots saturate it too much, then why not have one grow, and then why not have one grow, and then place it in, harvest it and put a new one and resaturate it. And I thought, that's amazing. This would save so much more time on so many things. And then I hearkened back to your words about 2 or 3, definitely 4. That got me thinking, if this would greatly improve with 2, why not 4, which is what you said. And I realized that 3 is almost perfect, but just not quite. And 5 is just too much. But 4, for some odd reason that I have not been able to explain, is the perfect center. And it's amazing. So everyone will come to this revelation, and he goes, crop rotation. It's the simplest thing, and I just never thought about it. At this point, everyone starts going crazy, and Drake says, "Hold on, everybody, before you start going crazy about this ability, there is limits. This will Drake. There is technically no limits for Drake, but as a measure to stop people from constantly bothering him, he tells them, I can only give you information. Oh, how should I put this? I can only give you information when you are at an absolute bottleneck. The only reason I helped this farmer, who I did not know, was to test whether I could pass on this knowledge, and it seems I can. However, I believe that this power should not be abused. This is a gift from a god, but also a devil. This should not leave in my hands or be abused, and I will not abuse it because I am a righteous person and a righteous soldier to the empire. This will get a lot of praise, and a lot of prestige in the people who live in Rashad. They will come to idolize him as someone who is a righteous soldier. He will become very notable in that town, and this will become very important as when I plan to make him a noble and be able to build up the town to his own wishes. I actually plan to make him have 2 towns in the beginning. That way, it's just a little harder for him. I plan to really make him struggle with this because he has his game plan down. He knows exactly what to do for one city. He knows exactly how to get everything running. But he is not prepared for 2 cities. He's gonna ask the king for a favor to become a baron of Rashad and have complete control of it. The king. Oh, and I'll have him say, "I don't want any funding from you. I simply want to do what is right, and I believe I can bring prosperity to Rashad. So, in return for you not messing and for you not interfering with the politics of Rashad, I will give you a 10% teeth, and I will give you 10,000 gold coins every single month on top of the teeth." The king will obviously be very surprised by this, and he says, "Well, you do know I by nobility law, I have to for a population that does not give the back that does not give back to the capital at least 10,000 gold per month, I have to personally fund them. How are we going to make up with this? And he says, Your Majesty, everything in the city, and I mean everything, will be funded by me. This will draw a lot of murmurs from the other nobility, and I'll probably make it where like there's when there's newly crowned nobility, a lot of the dukes and counts will probably come over and probably see who this new person on the block is. Um, this will obviously get a lot of rise out of the dukes and the counts because they do not think that this young man is so capable of doing this. And the king says, and Drake will respond with, "For Your Majesty, give me 1 year." And this Majesty will obviously be like, "What do you mean?" This will also be the meeting where he has to train his daughter. There. That's good. That's a good throwing point in there. I'll probably have him ask for like 2 or 3 things as like a prestige gift or something. Okay, and then I'll have them. I'll have the king. And I tell him, well, 1 year for what? And he's gonna tell him, you don't send me any support. I said I will fully fund this. Don't send me any support, and if I cannot give you, no, if the city does not make at least 20,000 in gold in profit, not counting the 10,000 that I will be sending to you as the teeth, and the 10%, I will I will let any I will let any one of these dukes or counts take over that land, and that includes you, Your Majesty. I will let any nobility take control of my land if the emperor so chooses, and I shall go back to being regular commoner. This obviously freaks a lot of people out, because who would stake everything? Why would you want to go from being a commoner to nobility and then immediately staking your nobility title on an outlandish idea? No one would expect him to make 10,000 of that big of a deficit a year. 10,000 gold is a lot. It was 100. It's 100 platinum coins. So in the series I'm doing, it's 100 copper coins equals 1 silver coin. 100 silver coins equals 1 gold coin. 100 gold coins equals 1 platinum coin, and 10,000 platinum coins equals a mithril coin. Mithril coins are extremely rare. You you can get them, but you cannot trade them in. So say you do have 10,000 platinum coins. You can't go up to the emperor and say, I want a mithril coin. No, these you actually have to get these legitimately. It can't be conversion processed in there, or else once any billionaire gets a hold of the game, they can easily grab a mithril coin. Mind you, they can grab other currency, but that's picking hairs. And I feel like this is the American talking in me, but I don't know who would support billionaires coming in and just paying through all their hard-earned money, but that's what this becomes in 2 or 3 years. Millionaires start paying attention to this game, and then after like another couple of months, the billionaires start paying attention, and then the 100 billionaires and trillionaires start paying attention, and then suddenly everyone is in this game. So this is probably going to be controversial, but I plan on adding some really like in-depth lore about America splitting. it's gonna be a really hard time explaining that one because I mean, I know it's a fantasy world, but I'm gonna sound like such a radical when I try to type this out. I might put on some like watches or something, but um, no, um, yeah, going to have it where America, Canada, and Mexico in probably about 2075, I'll say, uh, made became a conglomerate government where all three countries merged into one. And then about 20 years later, because of a lot of internal strife and for a lot of seemingly un a lot of events that seem to go together, but ultimately led to the collapse. And what happened was actually Texas. I'm gonna throw Texas in there as like a little like Easter egg because I'm from Texas. Um, I'm gonna say Texas. And after all this time, it actually invokes their backing out of the uh, annexation of America, and this succession is not perceived well by everyone else, and including the entire world is kind of like on the edge of like, oh God, is this going to be the next world war? And in fact, it was. Shortly after Texas seceded from, I guess, Canada, United States, and Mexico, the cum zone. Whenever they seceded from the cum zone, I'm gonna say Louisiana, Georgia, and actually, I have to look up exactly what it is. I think it's Tenochtitlan, like the Tenochtitlan like province, but like the upper part of I'll say Nevada, and then a good swath of like probably a good chunk of the top part of Mexico, all seceded at the same time. Which after about 6 months of fighting between the eastern part of the United States, all the way from Alaska through Canadian Ontario, going down California, Washington, all that, all the way down to Baja California, suddenly announced an alliance with what I will call the Southern Union and the Eastern Coalition. Oh no, sorry, it would be the Western Coalition. Western Coalition uh, immediately after announcing alliances declared war on. Uh, I'm just gonna keep calling it comes down on this. They immediately declared war on the cum zone. Um, Eventually, after about another year, after about another 2 years of fighting, the cum zone, actually it ends up going to peace talks. The death toll is already in the millions, and neither side wants to see this war dragged out for longer. It's obvious that neither side wants to lose, but it is what it is. The southern part of Mexico just becomes Mexico again. Unfortunately, they didn't really want to rename. The eastern part of Canada that was not taken over actually gets divided into two. The middle section being governed by a former a former American bureaucrat. I don't know. I don't want to do anything political. I'll just say Sam Thompson. I don't know. And east is I'll just say the Quebec province because I don't know much about it, but I do know that there's a lot of controversy with the Quebec area. And I'm thinking about like you got the Southern Union, and then I'm gonna probably put I'm gonna have the Southern Union, and then I'm gonna have the former Northern Americas that's not part of the Southern Union, the above them. I'm gonna have them as still one entity, but they have a lot, and I mean a lot of bad issues. And right now, their Drake is reincarnated to about 5 months before the the state, the United State. That's what it's called. Uh, they decided not to allegorize themselves into states anymore, and they're just one United States. Um, Sorry about that. Uh, so basically, Drake's in the United States right now, and he cuts out a deal to sell his house to some businessmen who want to sell the oil under his house to uh, their boss or whatever, so he can sell it to the state to help them with their oil crisis or whatever. Um, I'm gonna kind of skip over it because it really doesn't matter, but um, I'm gonna have him come down to the Southern Union. Um, oh God, that one hit kickback on me. Okay, I'm gonna have him come down the Southern Union, and uh, oh, I'm having him come to the Southern Union, and I'm gonna have him meet Loco, the character. I'm gonna have them meet in real life, and they're initially not gonna like each other, but they're eventually gonna realize that this person's really familiar, and even though I don't really like him, I can tell there's a familiarity there, and eventually they're both gonna separate. They're both gonna come online to do some raid or something. I'll have to set it up or something. Um, oh, Epic Class Dungeon. Uh, I'll have them take another break right for the actual boss. They'll get to the second mini boss and they'll have the final boss room, but they'll take another break to make sure they're mentally prepared for it. Oh, yes, Drake will, because he'll be fighting it alone. So, uh, oh, what was I? I know I was really supposed to talk about his class and stuff, but I know like I said, I'm kind of going on a tangent because I like over explaining stuff, and when I get on a tangent, I'm just gonna keep going on a tangent, and I might branch off from that tangent to make another tangent. But yeah, uh, I'm gonna have him partner up with Loco as part of the businessmen and like the business area. I'm gonna have Loco be the face of the guild. I guess I'll have to explain why. Um, I'm gonna say that like the game makes it where you can't own a guild and a city at the same time because then you would monopolize everything. Even if the person you has a guild in the city, is not yours, um, you can't give them any benefits. You can't, you could give yourself benefits, but you can't do that for the super guild like this. So eventually, he has Loco take over the city with their super guild. Loco's immediately satisfied. It's a partnership. I provide him with whatever he needs in the real world. He provides me with all this endless cash coming in from my side, this is an easy deal. I'll take this 10 times a day. And because Loco is now investing into this, Loco is, I'm gonna put him as like he's like they're new billionaires. They came with the rise of the new generation. His father was part of the new generation of billionaires, and now his son is growing up, and he has a very sharp business like mind, but he also likes the game. It's one of his vices is that even though he's a very serious person, he likes fighting games. He likes fighting video games, and Adele Online is he sees it as the best money making opportunity that he could possibly think of, even for differentiating from the old world, which is Earth, to the new world, which is Adela. He's thinking of this as a new world. It's no longer a game to him. He's serious about this, and his father realizes this, and he knows that his son rarely, and I mean, he means rarely makes bad businesses propositions or decisions. Even at the age of 11, he was giving his father advice about stocks and portfolios that he should have no knowledge of, and that he said, "Oh, I just saw it on your desk, and I thought of a good idea." It was then that his father knew this child was gifted. But yeah, Loco is a very talented man, and he uses that in fighting too. His his natural, cunning, sadistic nature when it comes to business actually helps him in fighting too. He gets better with every swing. He focuses more. That's why he becomes silent, because he's pouring everything he has into every attack. It's why he almost fainted after the two-headed alpaca fight, because the only thing he was thinking about was, how can I beat it? How can I beat it? And all he needed was just a little bit of assurance. And when he heard Drake yelling at him for support, when he heard Drake yell, "Hit it," he knew this was the time. Yeah, he had to go balls to the wall, do some crazy shit like he always did, and he did. He flew off the roof, and he cut both heads in basically one fell swoop. This could be like this background. I'm gonna make it where like he becomes very, very prideful, but he knows in the back of his mind, I'll never, and I'll mean I could probably be the number one player in this game, hands down. Just with my mind. Even if you gave me a common class and I was raised a legendary, I would find a way to make it work. And here I am sitting with a semi-legendary class. I could probably be the number one in the game if it wasn't for Drake. He knows way too much about this game. I don't know how he does it. He studies everything. He knows stuff he shouldn't know. It's like he has such an in-depth grasp of the game that he can just tell at a glance what something is. It's insanity. And he comes to realize that he may be, if Drake wasn't there, he would be number one. He would easily be able to be number one. But because Drake is there, now he's always going to be chasing someone. And this drives him like nothing ever. He could definitely strive to be number one. He could do it. But always having someone ahead of him at every single turn who's always going to be stronger than him, now that was a true challenge that he could not miss. And so he decides that as long as Drake stays more powerful than him, he'll follow him. He makes this commitment to himself, and this makes him all the more powerful. Every day he's following Drake to a new dungeon. Every day he's not new dungeon, but every day he's doing something different. He's training troops. He's leading armies. He's fighting monsters, other people, whole cities, and the whole time not at one point does is he even remotely strong enough to even compete with Drake. And everyone regards him as the invincible fighter, the undefeated, the merciless, the bloodthirsty, the the white death. But he knows. He knows. The brown death. He's supposed to be Hispanic, so like so the brown death. Oh, like the like the Spanish flu or some stupid shit like that. Like he's also known as the Spanish flu because he'll always kill you. um, but he's also known as his actual name, Crazy Motherfucker, Loca Madre. Um, See, I told you I'd go on a tangent about Loco. I have so much shit planned for Loco, man. I randomly, I don't know why I did it, but I remember I was writing the fifth or sixth chapter. I think it was when I introduced him, and I was having them. At first, I was just having him. I'm gonna have like a random character come in and be like, oh, and Jake be like, oh, I gotta keep this a secret. I can't let anyone know any of this information. But then I'm like, wait, what if I have a top 10 player come into contact with him, like that would be crazy. And I thought, what if it's the number one player? And then I have this dynamic, and then I was like, but that's a little too overpowered. It's not gonna be any challenge. But I was like, but I could work it like that because I could make it where Loco is better than and Drake's previous life, because Loco is training like a madman because he knows that he'll never be good enough to actually give Drake a good challenge, and he wants to fight on equal terms with Drake, and that's what drives him. He wants to be able to say we are equals, and it took a while for Drake to kind of figure this out. He doesn't really understand Loco's like battle hungriness. That he always shows. He's always eager to go into battle. He's always eager to get better with every fight, and Drake can see this. He's getting almost to the point of perfection, where like it seems like he can literally not do anything wrong with anything. Like Drake asks him like, can you even do you even have imperfection in your techniques anymore? And and I'll have him like Locos say something like I, I don't even know. It feels like about, I'll have like a bunch of 0.0001% is about what I'm sitting at right now. I'm trying to get to go further, and Drake to be like, and you think I'm more powerful than you? And Loco's gonna go be like, a lot more powerful than me. And and then that's when Jake's gonna realize this is why this man follows me. Not for glory, not for fame, not for money. This man wants a challenge. He's challenged by me. He's challenged by my superiority. This because Drake is also a very, very smart character. He's no genius level character, but he is a smart character. He has very good thinking abilities, and on top of his battle brain, I'm gonna have it where like something's gonna go wrong with his helmet, and he's gonna gain the ability to have battle brain in real life, and it's gonna help him so much. Now I'm probably gonna do it very early on because I want him to adapt this very quickly. It's going to become a recurring thing. It's going to be a challenge for me because once I put things in, I can't take them out again. So I'm going to have to stick with this. That's why it's kind of scary because I really want to implement this idea. I think it could be cool to have two, other personalities talking to him constantly, giving him advice, but also growing themselves. That's like the best thing. It's like I'm giving character experience to three different characters who are the same person. It's a weird thought to think about, but it's three separate characters. They all have different personalities, but they're all the same person. So like their thoughts will differ, They shouldn't differ that much, but they do. So why is that? I'll have like the personalities like I said, I'll have the personalities like at first they'll be pretty bland. People will wonder like why did I add these in if it's gonna be so bland. They're just basically system notifications again, but with like a little extra flair. And people may not like that at first, but I plan to make it better. That's the thing. I want it to be bad at first. I want these two AIs or two subbrains or whatever you want to call it. I want them to be like the most boring pieces of shit on planet Earth. But then, as the series goes on, so we'll probably introduce them around like chapter like 50 to about 100 is when I want to implement that. But I can see the series going on for a while. Like I know the series can go on for a while. I've set it up for 8 years, but I plan to have the character going on for like a good like 12. So top secret information, but I'm eventually going to have him control pretty much an entire kingdom in the game, and have him as the king of the Southern Union, and the Southern Union will actually go to war with the United States, and Drake will call upon his previous enemy. He'll call upon his previous enemy as a good gamble for like internal sabotage. Justin will be obviously very perturbed. Like this person outplayed him, and now he's sitting on top of a throne, and now he's contacting him, and all he asks is, "I'll give you a lot of land and a lot of support in our new union. All you have to do is give me a little sabotage." It's 2 weeks before Drake just get a response, and all the response says is, "I'm in." Drake smiles. Within 12 hours, all mainframes, internet, and satellite is cut off from the United States, cut off from everything. The state union wall separating the Union State and the Southern Union collapses from bombardments from the Southern Union. The political strife inside the Capitol does not help, and there is no real answer to the Southern Union's sudden attack. They call upon their allies in the Quebec province. However, Quebec is strangely silent and won't answer their aid requests. All of a sudden, Holloman agents all across the Union State set fire to important infrastructure, explode critical equipment, and damage food supplies, and poison water supplies. Unprecedented levels of deaths are occurring, and even the highest personnel. Assassinations, sabotage, loads of other things. I'll have to think about the synonyms. So basically, Holloman Group launched an all-out offensive while it was getting ready in the 2 weeks. Justin Holloman saw the advantage as what it was. This is the Southern Union giving me a hint. It's giving me a riddle. He's gonna realize this. This is a riddle. This is a riddle from the king of riddles, and it's a rather blatant one at that. He's asking for a favor, But this is him telling me, if you don't do this, your group is wiped out. So he was giving me one final chance, and I just have to pray that this is enough to satisfy him. And Drake is satisfied. He names the Holloman group as like the Royal Southern Union, like banking commerce. I don't know how to say it, but I'll have to look it up. To be like the chiefs of the commerce in the Southern Union. At least where it pertains to the Union State. So everything that was in the Union State is going to be slowly integrated into the Southern Union, and all the economics from the area is going to be tabulated and brought over to Southern Union representatives. Yada yada yada. Like I said, I want to go really in depth with the story. I want to research things. I want to be stumped on how to describe something, on how to describe a plan that the character is like wanting to put into the story. But like put into, like, he wants to make a law, but he doesn't know how to do it, so he has to go research it, or like I have to go research it. Like if he wants to pass a health reform act, like what are the other specifics of the health reform act that we're viewing? And it's like stuff like that. It's like, it's really cool, like, because I've seen a couple novels like that. It's like where it's just like it's I've seen a couple of novels like that where it's just like they explain like all the uses. There was the one that I really really enjoyed. I didn't much like all the sex in it. I mean, I get it, but it's just unnecessary. It was a Tyranny of Steel. That one was a really really good story. It's still going. I've read all of it. It was really good. It detailed specifics on guns and how to make them and what was needed for each part, and all the ways to like set systems and factory processes up. It's really really good. Same with the World Online. That one was really good. It very 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 detailed in terms of economics and military buildups and stuff like that. He starts off with very little money. He has to invest in certain things and buy certain things, save his money where he can, make alliances, make friends. It's a very very good book. Sorry, that's another. I love that novel. I read that novel for so long, man. Just 2,000 chapters. Good God. I wonder if myself will ever get up to 2,000 chapters. Good God, I can't imagine that. I would prefer maybe to like end my story around 1,500 if at all possible, but with the way I want to plan out, and like with the way I want to explain the stories and lore, because this is gonna be a fictional world. I mean, hope not. Hope we don't have a Southern Union. Good God. I'm a Texan, even I'm like, no, that wasn't good for us. Like, we would crumble in a second. God, it's funny. Like with Texas' ability, with like, I mean, we wouldn't crumble in a second, but we would not be having a good time. But Drake doesn't know why Texas seceded in the first place. He just knows that there was political strife because he heard it on the news. No, not the news. Like, he learned it in school. Not learned in school. He learned it growing up, because it wouldn't be soon enough to learn it in school. He'd probably learn it as a cultural thing. It's like, yeah, it's like Texas seceded, and they brought a bunch of people with them, and we valiantly did it. That's what they tell the kids, like, we valiantly stood up to tyrants. But like on the other side, the Union States gonna be like, you just fucking abandoned us, and it caused all this bullshit to happen. It's like, but that every place tells a story different, and ow, stop. God damn it, puppy. I'm sorry. You just, it hurt. Ow. Stop. You're adorable, but stop scratching me and shit. Um, I forgot what to say. Well, I'll get back on the topic of classes, I guess. I'm gonna have Drake become the gain. Um, I'm gonna have him be able to evolve his class into the mythical Achilles Spearman class, which is gonna be a mythical plus class. I'm gonna have him gain the evolution potion probably around level 200 ish. Um, However, because it's a true core thing, he won't. He the system will not allow him to use this potion because it'll reveal to him that uh, he's since he's trying to evolve, the system can now inform him of different things. The system will tell him that he can't evolve his class, but it involves a legendary quest uh, 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 where he must visit the netherworld and visit the god of the underworld. I don't know. I'll making up shit. Um, Along with his like three patrons or something. I'll make him like I'll make and like you have to go to the river of souls uh, and bathe in it and bathe in it like Achilles and he'll go to the underworld and he'll find that he was expecting a fight, but everyone there is actually really nice. uh, he prepared a lot. I'm gonna put it up like I'm gonna have him like build up everything, and then I'm gonna have him like sneaking around like hell trying to get to this river, and then right before he gets to the river, I'm gonna have the main god that rules over the place and his three patrons come up and be like, yo, what are you doing here? And Drake's gonna be like, oh man, are you gonna kill me now? And the guy would be like, why would I do that? And he goes, because I'm invading your domain. And like a question is like, and the guy's gonna be like, and the guy and like the one of the servants gonna be like, yeah, we really don't care, if you're here, we just want to know why you're here. Uh, and he goes, yes, because you're not supposed to be here if you're not dead. So we just kind of figuring out like why you as a mortal would want to be in the realm of the dead. It's not a happy place, so don't understand that. And I'm gonna make him out to be the cocky like all the three the three protectors of this god. I'm gonna make them out to be like cocky gym bros, and I'm gonna have like the main god just be like the voice of reason. They can be like, hey bro, I mean like you stepping on our turf, bro. Oh, that's a good one. That could be funny. Um, and all these ideas I have them all the time, so I just wanted to say them. I want to start doing this more. Where I let my thoughts about the story. I have the same thoughts about my fan fiction. I had a Pokemon fan fiction I was writing. Um, it was I had the same thoughts about how to develop storyline, how to develop different interests and stuff. Um, but I don't know. I stopped liking what I was writing, so I kind of stopped. And then I wanted to try original story, and it's led me to this. And it's like it's way more freeing than what I was doing with the fan fiction, and like it. I know why now I stopped wanting to do it because I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and I still love the series and I love everything about it. And I still love the fan fiction. I still think it's even in its incomplete state. It's still a good testament to my writing. I still enjoy reading it. I don't dislike the writing. I don't like dislike reading it. I don't think it's a bad story. I just didn't like. I stopped writing it. It's the weirdest thing. And now I realize that it's because I felt very boxed in with all the rules of Pokemon. I wanted to write something more free. I wanted to give the character more influence, power, and uh, I wanted to make the story feel more alive and add more dialogue to it. But as I started writing about his aura training and him catching more Pokemon and him and meeting all the he met Sir Aaron to get aura. He met Lance to get favors from him. Oak to start his journey. It's like, you know, I'm introducing all these characters, and now we have a common enemy. It's Team Rocket. We're killing off these Team Rocket members. But it because I had to stay in the lane of Pokemon. I was trying to add life to these characters, and it was really really hard. I was having a very difficult time with adding characters to. Uh, I was Pokemon Fire Red, but what I was trying to do, but I was trying to add unique characters and not unique characters, but I was trying to characters that that had more depth to them. Like I had Steven Stone from Emerald show up as like a 13 or 14-year old in it as part of a as part of a um, I had him show up as part of like as like a battle antithesis to Steven, the main character of that story. Uh, and he starts out, and I mean, I obviously gave him a pretty weak team to start out because he's a new trainer, and I had Steven Stone fight the main character Steven, and the Steven in my story knows all the tricks and the trade of the new generation. He's a hardcore Pokemon fan, so he knows about EVs, IVs. He's done Nuzlocke, he's done all type of locks where like he can challenge himself. So he knows the game almost pretty much better than anyone. He's a top level player. In this game, he has a knowledge that for some reason and in this universe that he's found himself in, half the stuff that was actually in the game, just people just don't seem to know. Like IVs were in Pokemon Fire Red, and people just don't know what they are. So like he knows how to train. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He comes up with inventive ideas. He comes up with new ways to train, how to make his Pokemon stronger. He comes up with all of them by himself. But because it was centered around him, all these characters, I'm trying to give them more. I'm trying to get all the character more depth, but it just felt soulless. But when I'm writing this story about Drake Silver, it's much more freeing. It's no one can tell me where to go with the story. No one can tell me the correct path. Even I don't know the correct path. That's the fun part about writing it. Like I said earlier, even when I was ranting about what I was gonna do with the starting village with Loco, my original plan was to have a couple people come in, and Drake get kind of freaked out because he hadn't attained the class yet. That's what I was referring to there, and then as I was writing it, I realized that I had a better option. See, that's what I like about this. It's like I don't have to go from Pallet Town to Viridian to the yada 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 like a normal path would. You start a new save, a Pokemon. That's what you expect to do. You expect to go on that path, but with this, I don't. No one can tell me what the path is. I don't have to go from starter town to dungeon to thieves. I don't have to do that. I want to do it like that, but I want to have my characters grow, and it's easier for me to have them grow in more complex ways when I'm not constrained. And just like I said, I love Pokemon. I would not even complain about restarting writing that story. I still want to complete this story, but I would have to probably pour about 100 more chapters just into that story alone, probably about 150, and those are 3,000 word chapters, not the 1.5 that I use on this one. On this chapter, 1.5 is much more easier for me. Um, I got comfortable writing 3K, but I didn't like it that much. But that's one on fanfiction.com. You get more traction if your chapters are longer. So I extended it to 3K. How long have I been going? Oh, an hour. Cool. Well, I think that's it for now. I got out a lot about what I wanted to talk about. I'm recording these. I'm gonna post them somewhere. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about my book, because I feel like I never get to speak my mind about it. And it's good to just kind of let out my ideas. And also, I really like to rant. I noticed that. I rant to my girlfriend too, but she likes that, so it's cool. All right, that's it. Bye bye.